My name is Chukwuka John Umeo Jacko. Recently, I started having this feeling of, so I wanted to talk to Ifani, right? Ifani has an interesting story because I knew when he was in UNN. I think he studied, was it radiology that you studied?
Radiography.
Radiography, okay.
Yeah.
And then he was able to get a job in UK, and he's currently working there right now. So I wanted to hear his story, how he was able to do that, like literally get a job from Nigeria and moved over to UK. And then while having that conversation with him, this idea popped out that, we should talk to some other people kind of to hear their story. So that was where my research started. So that's why we're here. We're just here to share our story. We're here to enlighten others. There are a whole lot of people back home in Nigeria that might want to immigrate, that might benefit from the story and the whole process from A to Z of how we are living in different countries right now and how we are surviving. Because traveling is not only the issue, but you got to travel, you got to really learn how to play the immigration game in the country that you're living in. So that's why we're here, right? So real quick, we're going to go through the table. Then I'm going to call your name, then you introduce yourself as a speaker for today. So let's go down to Ifani. Ifani, go ahead, please introduce yourself to us.
Hi, so my name is Ifani Eddie, EDI as the last name. I am a radiographer currently working in the UK, NHS England. I am qualified. I spent most of my years in Nigeria. Qualified. I went to uni in Nigeria, did secondary school, primary school, uni in Nigeria before moving here 2018. Yeah, I've been here since then. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Then I have my two classmates here, Makogo and Zikora. Both of them we went to Dennis Memorial Grammar School in Onitsha together. And I'm going to ask Beacon Makogo. Is that how you say your name? Because I called it like a meat we eat here. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, you guys are not used to it. Yeah, hello guys. It's good to have you guys here. My name is Bacon Chinazom Makogu. And I'm from Anambra State. I currently live in Germany, and I'm studying for a second bachelor degree here in Germany, Berlin to be precise. Yeah, I also already had a degree in biology from the University of Port Harcourt before I decided to move to Germany. So currently I work part-time here and I study as well. Yeah, that's
Very
it
cool.
so far.
Very cool. Very cool. Zikora, are you ready for your introduction? Okay. Yeah, so we have Zikora, my learned friend in Canada. My brother, go ahead and introduce yourself to us. Ask to unmute.
Exactly. So thank you for having me, John. My name is Zikora Chinazazo, and like John mentioned, that we were classmates in Dennis Memorial Grammar School, Onitsha, and then I went ahead to study law at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Oka. Currently, I stay in Canada, in Ontario, to be precise, and I also have an LLM in international business law and licensing to get practice to the Ontario Bar Association. So that would be basically all about me.
That's cool. Just real quick, we are going to, like I told you yesterday, we're going to front load you with questions just in case you have to leave. How is the migration from like being a lawyer in Nigeria and then you are going to Canada to practice law? how is that process like? Because I know you have to go through some hoops to be able to do that, right?
Yes, of course, you have to. But basically, there are just two ways to go about it. First, there is a qualification from the Federation of Law Societies of Canada. It's called the National Committee on Accreditation Exams, the NC exam. So you have to be assigned a couple of courses ranging from 7 to 8. So you have to be assigned a couple of courses, but the minimum number of courses are, I think, 5. Ranging from 5 to 8 rather, but the minimum are 5. Okay. And then when you assign, getting assigned has to do with you providing them with your transcript, and then they have to evaluate and then assign you with courses. Okay. So when you get assigned with courses to write, you have to write the exams when you're here, pass the exams, all of them, number of courses, and then register. That is the point you get qualified to register for the bar exam.
Yeah.
So at that point, you can register to write the bar exams, and the bar exams are two in the solicitor exam and the barrister exam. So after writing the bar exam, you can now decide to article. There's what they call articles of clerkship. It's a compulsory 10-month internship. Where you have to work with a law firm or the legal department of a company or any other firm.
Yeah.
At the inspiration of but it's optional. If you have already practiced in a common law jurisdiction like in Nigeria, you can decide to apply for an exemption.
Oh, okay.
And then just get called. Then after the articling or the exemption, you can apply for your call. And that is how it goes. But the other route would be the NCA courses. It takes a lot of time to fulfill the requirements. Of course, it's 5 papers. So some persons who also do not have the patience, or rather who have the funds and do not have a lot of time to waste, would rather, there's an LLM here. It's called the Canadian Common Law LLM.
Yeah.
The courses in the Canadian Common Law LLM qualifies you for the NCA exam.
So I have a question. A lot of people who, I know a whole lot of lawyers that immigrated from Nigeria to US here. It's usually very hard for them to blend into the system. It's actually a very white dominated field. How do you plan to navigate that in Canada? How do you, what is your plan?
It's exactly the same thing here. The truth is, it's basically the same, but like what I tell people, the good thing about this place is that unlike in Nigeria, there are just a few general practice law firms here. In Nigeria, what we do mostly are general practice. Everyone is a general practitioner.
Right.
So the easiest way to go here is to carve a field and venture into that field. It makes it a lot easier for you. For instance, I was working in corporate and compliance before I relocated to Canada. So when I came into Canada, I just moved back into compliance. I got an LLM in international business law, with a focus in in-house and compliance. And right now, I'm moving back into compliance. I work within a firm, within the compliance industry of a firm. So it's easier when you cover a niche and then follow it up. It becomes difficult when you decide, okay, you want to get into litigation and all that. Also, you can. It's not like it's impossible to go back into litigation. Of course, you can, but the easiest way would be to article. Like I mentioned, taking an exemption would make it a lot more difficult. You would have to article, look for a firm, and then it makes it easier. But it's really wide dominated, and it's a struggle.
My brother, it was a struggle. I remember my struggle trying to get into finance. It was a very, very hard nut to crack, and these are some of the things that we want our brothers back home who are thinking about immigrating. Just like you gave these insights, figure out what you are very good in, and start running with it, from the onset. So help us with your journey. How did you immigrate to Canada? What was the process like? And what advice would you give to people who want to journey through that path?
Well, the advice I would give is start now. It's just that simple. Whether you have the funds or not, just start up something. The truth is 95% of, let me not use a figure, but a large majority of persons who leave the country do not have money stacked up somewhere, and then start making plans. I could remember when I wanted to relocate, I started working on it. Initially felt as at when I started making my plans, 2018, when I started my evaluation, people around me felt it was a joke. It wasn't that popular then to immigrate and to get into Canada as a permanent resident.
Yeah.
So it felt like I was telling stories. So I started working on it, started my evaluation. From evaluation, I moved into writing IELTS and, wrote IELTS, started my, jumped into the pool and all that. It took time, yes. But on the other hand, it took some perseverance because I had to put up with a lot of things. One is the fact that I was a young lawyer then. I didn't have so much money on me. I needed money for proof of funds. Of course, my family helped so much because at the end of the day, my dad gave me a gift deed. He helped out with the gift deed, which helped me with the proof of funds, But I have friends who are also here who came in here to study. Most of them came in with their what's it called? Student visas. Without having the funds to pay these fees. They gathered up funds, just paid up for the first tuition deposits, made their proof of funds, and came in here and then started working. And they are doing pretty good. They work, they earn, they pay their fees. So when I see people saying, okay, I don't have money, that's why I can't. Well, of course, you can be limited if you don't have money. It's reasonable. It's very reasonable. But if you also have means to be able to at least get it, you can get money from people. I have friends within my classmates in uni who have left the country without having the money. How did we do it? We have an organization. We have something like a group I convened the group, and then the group has been running. And when someone tries to leave the country, makes the proof of funds and everything, and you are done, and someone else is trying to, emigrate to, what we simply do is we call the person who is already done, please, can you transfer your sum to this person? And it makes it a lot easier. They transfer the sum. The point is just start up and then look for how to gather the funds. You must not have, it mustn't be your money. If you need 6 million, you must not have 6 million in your account. Ask questions.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So that's my point is start up and people who will assist you. For instance, as an individual, you come up to me as a friend, you want to immigrate, and then you tell me you ask me, Zeke, can you please tell me how it works from the scratch? I can't give you any information. It's not me you stress. Do you understand? Because I didn't go to anybody to say, please, can you start from the scratch? You should do your research, ask questions, gather information first. People who will help you.
Yeah.
People who will help you will not start helping you from the scratch by telling you, okay, first thing first, you have to look for a school. You have to do this one. You have to, first of all, no, I won't give you all that information. That's why you are human. You have Google. Take up your phone, Google and find a school for yourself. Look for things you want to do. Gather up information and then come back and say, okay, this is the problem I'm having. I'm having issues with trying to pay my application fee. That is when we can come in and help you. You can call me to leave my work and start searching for schools for you or start doing other things for you. We're all busy. Do you understand? So start up something. That's the advice I give everyone. Start up.
Okay.
Everyone else can assist you when you start.
So Ifeanyi, what was your process like immigrating to UK? What was your process like?
So for radiography, it's average relatively easier than a lot of people think. So for me, so I finished uni in UNN, and then afterwards I did my internship, and then I was 7. It was after internship you actually get your license. If you're in medical, like you get in after you finish uni is just like a professional license.
Yeah.
So with the license you get after your internship, you can now apply to like HCPC. There's a regulatory body that regulates radiographers in the UK.
Yeah.
So when you apply to them, they would check your credentials, check stuff like do background check and everything, and check transcripts and whatever they're checking, and then get back to you whether whether you can join the register or not. And even for us, even the IELTS isn't even optional. I think what happened with us is before, like years ago, people, because there wasn't really so much people going. It was an area that wasn't really people didn't really harvest and look into. But now a lot of people are actually doing it. So when you submit your license, submit all the documents. The HTPC, that's the regulatory body that regulates the practice in the UK, will go through your documents and will actually determine if they can let you in or not. So if they let you in, that's the first step achieved. Okay. So when you've gotten it, you now start applying for jobs. This is the part that actually might take time and is a bit, because people aren't really 100% keen, like employers aren't 100% keen, like pumping in people from abroad. They only do it as a last resort. Imagine my hospital struggling now, and they need somebody, but they can't get someone from the UK. That's always when they have to check people abroad to see if they can get someone. So with those opportunities, people, if you have a good, before you've presented to them, they think it's okay, they'll qualify an interview. And after the interview, if you make the interview, you pass it, they'll give you what we call certificate of sponsorship, and that's going to get you into the UK, and straight up you start working.
So have you always had plans to use your study to travel abroad? Was it always in the plan, or how did you come about the idea?
It was along the line. It hasn't always been there. Like when I was starting, it wasn't always there. I think it was about my fourth year when I saw someone that left. I remember messaging him, but he didn't really give me a good response. But at least what he did was to give me an insight that it's possible, since if this guy could actually live and work, not study, it's possible. So I would say it was from my fourth year that I started, aspiring to do it. But not until I finished that one of my close friends was now processing his, because father is close to me, so I saw that it's also very possible. And I think it was when in my final year internship period was the time I was certain 100% I'm doing this. And once I was doing my internship, I didn't say this part, like financially I sponsored everything. Like it's still something I'm proud of today. Like as an intern, I didn't touch my internship salary. Like aside the basic thing, rent and everything, I was living like a pauper. I was saving because I had a plan. I knew the financial what it was actually going to take. So I was saving up 100% of everything. And I remember my mom always saying, "What can you just go get me? Because obviously, as in Nigeria, I'm an idea of what they pay interns. And they're like, I was skipping all of them. And immediately I finished internship was the time I started straight away. So I pumped in, I used the money I had saved then to start the process. And service, I was now serving them.
Was this internship in Nigeria or UK? It was in
Nigeria.
Okay. Cool.
So when I started internship, I saved everything. They were paying. I was paid as an intern. I was paid 128 but I was lucky. I was living in it was a village, that was like low cost area really. So like monthly, I had a lot to save. And when I finished, I was posted to. I did actually influence my service. So I was in Lagos. I was now working full time. I was supposed to be a copper though, but I was working full time and I was earning like 150K then. So again, I saved all of them to, like, I remember where I lived in Lagos, because it was on the island, but the places I wish I took. One thing I didn't do was if I had taken the picture, I would be very happy with myself now. So, but I had to look for the low cost everything just to get because I knew that this is what I was saving for. So it wasn't the best. It wasn't like I was looking back to if I see my pictures and all of that, it's candy. I was saving up. I had money, but it was looked like I didn't have anything, but yeah, that was. Sorry, go on.
That's very nice of you to be judicious with your money and everything. So let me understand the process. So you went to school in UNN, right? You graduated with radiography.
Yeah.
Then you got your license to practice in
I got
Nigeria.
Yeah.
Then you use that license and apply for UK to be
license. Yeah.
Okay. So then when UK approved you and they gave you a license, do you have to write any exam for that?
No, I didn't write any exam. The one I did in Nigeria was on the whole stuff you did in Nigeria was the assessment they did. I didn't have to write like a physical exam. The process might change in the future, but as of now, it hasn't still changed.
Okay.
So
okay.
No.
So after that, after they give you a license, so you are now officially allowed to practice in 2 countries.
Yes.
And then from there, you start looking for a job in UK. Amazing.
Yeah. The part of looking for a job might be the part that might be difficult, because even if you have a license, that doesn't automatically guarantee you're going to get a job. Like you will eventually, but it takes time. Sometimes, yeah.
So how long was the process from the time you got your UK approval to finding a job? How long was the process, and what website did you use for your jobs?
The first question was less than a year.
Okay.
And then it was less than a year. I think, yeah, I would say like 9 months to 12 months. And then the website was the general NHS website, nhsjobs.com, if I'm correct. But there is a central job search, like the whole NHS. I'll have a look in a minute to see, because
I have more question. I have one more question for you before I move to Chinazam. So because your story was an inspiration to me, right? I do see a lot of people who go to school to become nurses, to study medicine and all that. And now most of the immigration stories that we hear of people living in Nigeria are people that are nurses and all that, but you studied radiography, right? Even though it's still in health, right? So what other fields can somebody study in Nigeria that will give the person a global appeal? Because that's what I tell people. Study something that will give you a global appeal, right? You can travel to Germany, go to UK, go to anywhere you want. What can you study? What other thing? Yours is an inspiration, radiography. I don't even know much of what you do, but I know about taking X-rays and all that stuff. What can you study to give you a global appeal, being the fact that you are in health field?
Yeah, so medically anyway, if I'm going medical, you could do everything in all the medical industry is actually very sought after, isn't it? So you could check your physiotherapy too is not a bad one. It's a good one. Physiotherapy, medicine, nursing. With the UK, like the way it's going in the UK now, like physio is actually a very good one now, because it's also under shortage of occupation. And recently, like lots of physiotherapists are like moving in numbers as well, because they quite need them around. And nursing will forever be in shortage occupation in the UK, but physio too is good. And physio, the one I can actually remember now, physio is good.
And those things you have to start like from secondary school to decide, like, okay, you want to be a science student or art, right? Have you seen somebody who like went through secondary school as an art student and then changed in the university and went to do like physiotherapy or something like that?
If the Nigerian university is going to allow you, but it's very unlikely, because the entry requirement, the basic requirements is usually biology, chemistry, and physics.
Okay, that makes sense.
I went to anyway, but as of now, I don't know what's going on. But the same with medicine and the rest of them.
Thank you, bro, for that information. I know some people here are learning so much about your process, and yours is unique, right? It was unique. I'm glad you took that move So Chinazom, why Germany? Why Germany?
That's a very good question. To start with, yeah, I could have gone to other parts of the world, for example, Canada or UK, because I have families in these two countries. Actually, my
Can you all
eldest
see
brother
him though? I can't see
is a
him.
Polish.
No, I can't. Sorry.
You can't
Yeah, we can't see you.
myself
Yeah, he just came in and went off. Okay, he just came.
now.
Yeah, I can see you now.
Yeah, yeah. Like I was saying, I have brother in UK who is an European citizen, so it would have been easy for me as well to go to UK or to move to UK.
Yeah.
And I have a sister in Canada. I could have still gone to Canada, but there was one prime thing, very important thing that I considered before I chose Germany. I had to do a good research, and this is about the cost of education. I mean, how much is it going to cost me to move to this country, you know? And I have to say that before I decided to study abroad, because I mean, considering my age as at that time, coming over to study wasn't really what I wanted, but it was just the best way for me to move to Germany. So I tried other possible means to just travel abroad, you know, and make money just like every other young man. You know, you guys know how it is.
It is.
But they were quite complicated. So I decided to come over to study. So I checked the cost of moving to Canada to study, and UK. It was quite expensive, ranging from 15,000 euros upwards. And it's not like it's not like it can be afforded, but I mean, I needed to check if there were other cheaper options. So I realized that in Germany, you can get a tuition-free education actually, like without paying a dime.
Wow.
And it's not really like you have to go through a lot of hassles, or you have to write some big exams, serious exams before you could get this grant, you know. So I by then I already realized that Udobala studied in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
I connected with him. Yeah, and he told me some things and I started. So basically, I decided to study in Germany because I don't have to pay fees.
That's
So
actually very
it's
interesting.
totally tuition free.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah,
I met with
it's
Udot
tuition
Bala
free.
too. I met with Udot Bala too in Frankfurt, Germany, and he was
Yeah, I
telling
was the
me
one
that
who linked you guys up.
I know, and I cannot believe it. I cannot believe, how does Germany give free education? How do they sponsor that? What is their economic packaging like? Because I know if they're giving you free education, that means you have to pay for it somehow in the future. How
For
is it
sure.
possible
I mean,
for them to give free education?
Yeah.
these people are smarter than us, you know. I mean, we feel we are benefiting a lot, but at the end, it's like in a chemical reaction where you have a closed system and nothing is lost, you know. Before you move to Germany, you have to block a certain amount of money. It's really huge. It's at my time it was 9,500 euros, but at the moment it's over 10,000 euros. And this is, they claim, is for you to prove that you can take care of yourself when you move here and until the time you get a job. Because as a student, of course, you're allowed to work, but you can work
So
full-time.
who do you pay the money to? Is it like you pay it to the government?
There is like I don't know if it's a government bank. It's called Fintiba. I use Fintiba personally. I don't know if there is another one.
Yeah.
Transfer the money into, and you will get a kind of a confirmation from Fintiba that you've moved the money into this account.
Okay.
Without moving this money, you can't get the visa. So you have to go to the German office, a consulate in Lagos or Abuja or wherever in Germany where they are located, to submit this confirmation that you've blocked this money before you can finally get your visa. But getting admission has nothing to do with this money. The school normally grants you an admission.
Okay.
But without this money, you can't travel. But then I heard some stories that some people said somehow they were able to travel without blocking this money. I don't know how it worked, but yeah, of course, anything is possible. There are usually exceptions in everything.
Right.
So,
So do you
coming to
have
the
access?
economy of Germany.
Do you have
Coming
access
to the
to the
economy of
money?
Germany. What?
Do you have access to the money? Like, is this something you can?
Yeah. I was coming to that.
Okay.
When you come in, you have to apply to the bank, and then you open another bank account where you want the money to be transferred to. Every month you get a ration of the money. Let's say it depends. If you want 1,000 euros every month, they give you 1,000 euros. This is for you to start paying your rent, your health insurance, because it's compulsory. You have to, whether you fall sick or not, you have to pay your insurance. And also for you to do other things you have to do at school until you get a job. Because most times when you come in with an entry visa without work permit.
Okay.
So for the first 4 to 5 months, I wasn't working.
Okay.
So I had to go and apply for an extension, which now came with the work permit. That was when I started working, and I was earning money. So most of the money, like more than 50% of the money, I gave to my brothers, who gave me the money, and the rest, part of it were mine.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you basically crowdfunded from your family and your friends, and then deposited
no
the money
friends, family, strictly family.
Oh, strictly family. Okay, then after that, you paid them back the money, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Part of it, not all of it.
Okay, that's amazing. So where are you now in your? So how did you find the schools? Was there like a website, a database, or how was the research, and how did you make up your mind that it was that particular school you were going to go to?
Yeah. When I was talking with Dr. he told me I have to. I told him I want to travel to Germany, because I realized that I could study free of charge, and he gave me a website. It's called dad.de. It's DAAD.de. It's like a brochure, like a hard copy of brochure where you can find German universities. You find the universities. You find if it's tuition free, if the course is in English or in German.
Yeah.
If I mean, all the requirements you need for you to get into that university.
Okay.
And then when you choose this university, you have to see the requirements of the that.de. That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. You have to also check the requirements if you need to apply to the university directly, or you have to go through a body just like JAMB. It's called Assist in Germany. It's like German JAMB, So the uni assist have to check your documents if you are qualified to study in Germany.
Do you have to have
It's
like
like
some
you need to
certain
meet
score?
some.
Do you have to have some certain score
Yeah.
in your WAEC or any of that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You need to. So I had to, and also you have to subscribe, because it's like you need to make a 1-year subscription with Uni Assist, so they can run your documents. So I did, and they ran my documents, and they said, yeah, I can study in any university in Germany. But the thing is, I think my case is going to be a little bit different relative to any other person who is going to apply, who hasn't gone to university, because I already have a degree, So it made mine a little bit smoother, because I used my transcripts from Uniport.
So what you are doing now, is it a master's level degree or
It's a
still
second, like I said earlier, it's a second bachelor degree because I
second
applied for
master's?
masters at TUM
Okay.
and it didn't come through.
Okay.
But this came through. And you know how it is. We are usually in a hurry to leave Nigeria. So I just took the option and I left. And I intended to switch when I come over here, but I came and I realized that the course is quite interesting. When I'm studying business, it's really, really interesting. So I decided to just get the degree. Maybe
Yeah.
afterwards I could still go for masters in biology, you know. So yeah, I ran my documents and yeah, I met the requirements and I only had to write a motivational letter to the school. This is very, very necessary because it's the only way you can convince them that you can study here, you know. So I got the admission, and then the rest were just blocking the money, going for the visa interview,
Yeah.
and when I got my visa, yeah, that was it.
So there is actually an interview after this whole process. You still have to go to German embassy.
Yeah, but this is within, yeah, yeah.
So how was the interview like?
First of all, I think you have to apply for you have to you need to get the visa application form, which
Okay.
you send to the consulate, and they will have to invite you over for an interview. And when you go for the interview, you ought to already have blocked the money because you will see the requirement that you need to block this money, and you need to already come with the confirmation. But the
By
consulate
blocking the money,
usually,
you mean you must have already paid the money to that bank in Germany.
yeah.
Okay, then you
Sorry,
come with the receipt.
I use the block money because we call it blocked account.
Okay.
Because you really can't withdraw from this money. They send you this money based on the arrangement you made from the beginning, you know. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So has there
So
been any case where somebody was denied after blocking the money and all, finding school and all that? Has there been a case where somebody was denied visa?
yeah, I heard it happens. I heard it happens. They deny people visa and you have to apply again. Yeah, I've heard it before. Not someone I know very well. I heard it like a story, you know. But I think it's possible. It could be because of some other circumstances, which I
So
don't know.
what is the game plan from then if you were denied? You know, so does the money still stay in there while you reapply for a visa? What if you miss your school season and you have to wait for another? I don't know how you guys do it there. We do fall and spring semester and sometimes summer semester here. So what if somebody is supposed to come in the fall and then you blocked all the money, sent the money and got the confirmation, but you were denied visa? Can you move your admission to spring, then
Yeah,
start again?
yeah, this is possible. If it's not possible for you to start travel in but it depends on the course. Some courses are deferrable,
Okay.
why some are not,
Yeah.
why others are not. If it's deferrable, I think you could choose to not start in a particular semester when you're supposed to start to another semester because maybe you had some financial issues. While others, once you pass that start date, then it means you've lost the admission. Mine was possible. It was possible for me to differ because I saw the option there, but I mean, I didn't want to be in Nigeria anymore. I was all set to leave, so I went on with it.
Right.
And in case it happens that you don't get visa, you will still get your money back. You just apply for the money and they will send it back to you.
Okay. We're kind of losing your connection there. But thank you for that information. It's very, very insightful information, man. I mean, the sound of free education is really good, right? It's very good. So
Comes with the price.
Zikara, we are going to get back to you. So basically you didn't travel to Canada with student visa, right? You traveled
No, I
with
didn't.
different visa. What was the process like for you?
Okay, I came in through the Federal Skilled Workers Express Entry stream. And for Canada, it just takes time and you just have to, it takes a lot of processes, but the first thing is you have to evaluate your certificate because it's based on a point system. It's a point-based system. So yeah, so I usually have cutoff marks. I think the cutoff mark right now is at 504. They usually have cutoff marks, and then different situations and different qualifications boost your scores. Okay. Your age, your marital status, the course you studied. If you have a master's degree, wonderful. If you're a lawyer, and I think a pharmacist, I think pharmacy, medicine, nursing have their own evaluation process. But for us in the legal industry, as a lawyer, your degree is automatically evaluated as a master's degree. Yes. So you have to, after that, you start talking about
in what?
Your degree in law is automatically evaluated. Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's automatically evaluated as a master's degree by some evaluation platforms, apart from just West that does not recognize this as a master's degree. Yeah. But ICAS CS evaluated as a master's degree. You know, so you then go ahead to write IELTS. In my case, I was young in practice. I was just 1 year. I think your level of experience also matters. It also adds points. But for me, I was young, so I was losing points with respect to my age. I had just 1 year experience. I was also losing points. All I needed were two things. One, to max out IELTS. And then I needed some form of points from someone here. As God would have it, my sister was already a permanent resident, so she gave me 15 points extra. And then I wrote IELTS, and God willing, I also did pretty good in IELTS. So I did pretty well in IELTS, and my points, I think I got about 460. My points were matched to, I think, 469. Okay. And then I joined the pool and got my invitation to apply 9 days later.
Are you kidding me?
I joined the pool, got the invitation to apply 9 days later, and that 9 days later, their cutoff was exactly for 469.
And your score was what?
469.
Oh my goodness, what a narrow escape.
so immediately I was at home.
What does that invitation mean? What does the invitation like? It means that you get selected.
Yes, it's more like an invitation to now apply for the Express Entry program.
Wow.
Because joining the pool and everything does not guarantee you an invitation to apply.
So you applied for it and you were now invited. So you got the invitation, meaning that you've been selected out of the pool.
Right? Yes, to now apply to get a visa. To now apply to get the federal skilled workers visa.
That IELTS, how hard is the exam? What can you tell people about the exam?
I think it's subjective, to be fair. Because you meet someone and then the person says, my problem is listening. And then you meet someone else and the person says, my problem is reading. For me, the problem I had was the writing test. It was the writing test. The reading wasn't such a problem. The listening wasn't such a big deal. You just pay attention. And then the speaking test, I think having a communication with someone for about 12 to 14 minutes, you'll be able to sell yourself, to be fair. And you know, of course, I'm a lawyer. All we do is talk. And what they do in the speaking test is to give you instances. They would say, okay, the person could look at you and be like, okay, that sunglasses, what do you know about sunglasses? What can you tell us about sunglasses? Okay. And I think that was one of the questions I was asked. And I don't use sunglasses. I don't use any form of glasses. So
are you supposed to make up sentences about sunglasses or what?
You just have to talk about sunglasses, what you know about sunglasses. Do you use them? Do you like them?
Yeah.
How does it affect people's activities, people that use it? Just say something.
Bro, let me tell you a funny story. So, you know, I joined the military here in US, right?
Yeah.
So I joined the US military, and And I joined based on the fact that I could speak Igbo, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know where they brought this guy. This guy is a professor in Igbo language, and he was supposed to interview me, So this guy, he was like, from now onwards, we're going to speak Igbo all through. We're going to speak Igbo all through. So he gave me a scenario where I am trying to make a proposal to the governor of my state. How will I make that proposal in Igbo language from A to Z? That was a very hard nut to crack. I actually thought I failed the exam, because I was mixing it with English here and there, and he would stop me. And he would stop me and be like, okay, try it again. Bro, I was doing that test, I was sweating, and it was over the phone, So I actually took an exam like that, but mine was TOEFL. TOEFL was basically you are interacting with computer. But right now, I think a lot of universities in America don't, well, I don't know, because I've been outside of the school system. So, bro, your story is very interesting. So I heard that different provinces in Canada, they have their own, like Quebec, have their own stuff and all that. So you chose Ontario. Why Ontario?
Well, basically, the federal skilled worker system is a general system. You can decide to move into any province, but provinces also do have their particular nomination streams. Like some provinces, you can apply to get nominated. In Ontario, you apply, and pay the fees. They get into the pool and choose people they want. And the good thing about the nomination is that the nomination gives you extra 400 points. So even if you have 0 across the IELTS, you have qualified. Because if you have 400 points and the cutoff is 600, once you add your age, your secondary university education, it boosts you at least. So you have qualified. But it is difficult to get nominations in certain provinces. A province like Ontario, I've never seen one person I know that got a nomination.
So I'm kind of confused. You said something about if you are nominated, it boosts your score. What does that mean?
Yes. Like the points-based system, the cutoff currently, like I mentioned, is 504. Okay. The nomination from a province gives you 400 points.
So how would a province nominate you though?
Exactly. For instance, Ontario, you apply to be nominated. You put in just the same way you apply for your express entry skilled workers programs. You apply, join the pool, and then you make an extra application for nomination. Oh. And then they come in and pick people within the system.
So that nomination, is it based on the score you have?
No. The nomination is based on what the province needs.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
People
so
in
if now the province now wants you, and
yes,
it now adds to your score, which is like
exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes. Now, but for a province like Ontario, I've never seen anyone. But provinces like all these provinces by the islands, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, it's easier. Their nomination systems are easier. People get it. I know a couple of persons who have been nominated, and those particular provinces look towards a particular set of degrees, mostly in the medical field. They look forward to people in the medical field because of, especially during the pandemic, when those islands, you could get in there and in a particular city, there are just about 4 doctors, 5 doctors.
And it's also cold. It's also cold.
Extremely cold. Extremely cold. So people usually don't go there. But those provinces, their nomination system get nominated there. So it's a different system on its own. While you are at the pool and for the Federal Skilled Workers Program, you can also apply for nomination and then you can get nominated. But for me, I didn't use the nomination stream. I just did my Federal Skilled Workers application, applied, got the invitation to apply. They would give you a list of documents. I submitted the documents, submitted the letters I needed, everything to prove your proof of work history, proof of employment, medical history, and medical report and criminal report. I submitted everything, and the next thing you would get is you would either get an email to come submit your passport, and then you submit your passport. But this day it takes time. Each wait takes about 6 months.
Wow.
When I applied for my passport to be, for my certificate to be evaluated, ICAS took about 5 months to just evaluate my degree. When they were done evaluating my degree, I wrote IELTS, jumped into the pool. I got an invitation to apply. I jumped into the pool. After 9 days, I was invited. I applied. It took the ICC, the Canadian system, about 6 months to give me a response. Exactly 6 months. They sent me a message that I can submit my passport. I submitted my passport and waited another close to 6 months.
Wow.
You know, so by the time I submitted my passport around October, I got my passport in March. When they called me that I can come to GFS and pick up my documents, it was the heat of the pandemic. So at the day I went in there, the offices were closed. They were just giving out passports that have been issued. I just got in there, picked up my passport, came outside. I couldn't wait. I got into my car, locked everywhere, and opened the envelope first
to be sure.
To be sure. Immediately I saw the confirmation of permanent residence, I said, okay, that's good. And I put it back together. I started going back home.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the process. And now we have lots of people in the pool. Of course, the pandemic hindered a couple of things. A lot of persons the pandemic made it way difficult because for over a year, the system stopped. There were no intakes for the Federal Skilled Workers Program for over 1 year during the pandemic. At the point, I currently have so many friends in the pool, and I'm waiting because I know their scores are high. You know, they have someone who scored 480 something, 490 something. Our own is just right now, like I usually tell them, just chill. You will get invited. When they cut off, eventually when they started with the high score. So they started with 540 something, I think 547 was the first cut off. And then they're coming down. Now it's at 504. I am certain that by the end of the year, it will get up to at least 480 something.
Okay.
Because Canada actually needs people. The country is empty, to be fair.
Yeah, it's cold in Canada, and man, yeah, that's quite interesting. I do have questions. So Canada, just like in Nigeria, we have country and we have states, right? But Canada, they have provinces, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have 10 provinces.
10 provinces. Okay. Somebody is asking, can you kindly mention the provinces that are likely to nominate somebody more?
Nomination by provinces. I think first Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador. I don't know these things offhand, but New Brunswick. But I think provinces that have something to do with the islands, provinces and territories that have something to do with like St. Edward's Islands as well. These places are easier. They have an easier system to do the nominations. You know, it's easier when you want to get nominated in these places. But when you start talking about provinces like Ontario, Alberta, these places, Vancouver, and these places will pay attention to you, Quebec, because they have a lot of people already, and they are not looking at getting people in a certain field. They're looking at generally federal skilled workers.
Cool. You know, one thing I've started studying lately is actually the actions of government. And so governments, they use something in America, it's called fiscal policy, right? So basically, fiscal policy is all about the government spending and its taxation system, you know? And so when you look at the taxation and some of the policies that the government are releasing, then it kind of gives you an insight what the government wants to be done in that particular area, right? So like, I have a city called Little M in Texas. So at some point in time, they wanted to attract people. They saw that the migration in Dallas as a whole, it's moving north, you know? So for them to attract people, they have to lower the taxes, you know, of land and say, hey, come and buy land here. And with that, if you go to Little M right now, like literally, if you go to Little M in April and come back in something like June or September, you will not recognize the place again. Like developments here and there, And with that, governments are collecting taxes and they are making money because as long as you have a structure in their land, you're going to be paying taxes, and then that's their how they stimulate the economy with taxes. Then the other one is their spending. You look at where the government is spending. The US government has spent close to $3 trillion just from COVID 2020 till now, So if you position yourself very well, I believe that you can make good use of this thing and me myself too. I'm a product of government policies, right? I joined the military because of a program called MAVNI. So MAVNI gave people that have lived in America for 2 years the opportunity to serve in the US military and get their citizenship. That's the fastest way to become an American citizen. The fastest way, literally 8 months. 8 months. You don't have to go through the whole hassle of getting married to somebody you don't want to marry, or the hassle of going through H-1B visa or OPT or all that. So that gave you an opportunity to become a citizen. So I jumped from my student visa to citizenship straight. There wasn't anything in between, So that's quite a story. So one thing I advise people, look at what the government is doing. You might be able to benefit one or two things from what the government is doing, especially in the country that you are wanting to move to. So Ifani, I have a question for you.
That's fine.
You went to UNN, you got your radiography, bachelor's in radiography. You got your license to practice in Nigeria, applied to UK government, and they gave you a new license there too. And now you start looking for schools and all that. Did somebody help you through this process, or was it just like solely your intuition and your journey all through?
It was solely my it wasn't, obviously I had a friend then that was processing it, so I was with him throughout his whole journey. So I had watched him closely, like from beginning to the end, and I knew all the steps he took. So definitely, after he finished his, I remember I was in internship then. So when I finished internship, I started straight away. So having him, like watching him do all of it, was the biggest, I got from it.
What advice are you going to give to somebody who wants to, go through the route that you went to, UK school, but doesn't have anybody to look up to? What kind of advice would you give to that person?
Schools, they say. Did they say schools? Because I didn't go through schools.
So what advice would you give to somebody who doesn't have anybody to look up to, or somebody to hold his or her hand as they go through the process of applying? The person already has his license, maybe a pharmacy license, but wants to apply to a pharmacy in the UK. What advice? But they don't have anybody to guide them or direct them.
There's always help out there. There's always the internet, to be honest. There's always there was always the internet. There's always things to the person should actually read more, be more on follow people, like read more, send people DM. Like I've had to help strangers, like in my profession. I've helped even people that are not Nigerians. Like I've had like random DM to say, oh, I have an interview coming. I don't even know what I'm expecting. Someone that's not my friend, not anything, just a random request. And so just go online, follow people, go on LinkedIn, read people's journey, like DM people. There's always help out there. The person doesn't have to be close to you when it comes to that. As long as it's the same path, the person has walked through where you actually plan on going through. So just search for help online, and you're surely gonna get one.
Okay, so we are approaching the final 30 minutes of this talk session. I wanted to move into now that you are in the country, what next, right? So that's the next section that we're going to be moving into. Okay, now that I've gone through all this whole hassle, what next? Because a whole lot of people, they think that moving over to abroad is the answers to their prayers, right? That's, bro, like, I kid you not, the day I got my visa, I will never forget that day till I die. I would never forget that day. Number one, I've already stayed 1 year at home. Like, You got into UNN. I did not get into UNN. UNN did give me admission, right? I had to stay additional 1 year at home, right? And I wrote my JAM. The second one was good. And then I got my admission. The same month I got my admission to come to Dallas, Texas. That was the same one I got my admission to Futo, Owerri.
Yeah.
And when I went to Futo Owerri, bro, I didn't like it. I did not like it. The sun was hitting me differently. Like the sun was saying you are supposed to be somewhere.
Yeah,
The earth was saying you are supposed to be somewhere. Everything hated me in Futo. I go to lectures. People were jumping from window. I was like, what is this? I thought that was like a magnified secondary school or something, And bro, I took a step of faith. I told myself, I stopped going to classes, I stopped going to class. I was like, this place is not for me. Let me go and pursue this abroad stuff,
Yeah.
I actually packed my bag and moved back home. I was like, football is not for me, And then, bro, I went for my visa interview. They denied me. Think about it. Think about it. They denied me in Abuja, So, man, at that particular point in time, it was just like, am I going to do 2 years sitting at home, right? What am I going to do from here onwards? I was like, let me give this thing a shot, There is no spiritual calisthenics I didn't do around that time. If you are talking about fasting and prayer, bro, my mind was just ready because I've already burnt the bridge to Futo,
Yeah.
I just put myself in a place where this thing must have to work. It must have to work, That particular day I got my visa, it was a miracle. I literally, I still have graphics, images of what happened. And this was like 12 years ago. It was a miracle, So I want to kind of get to know how has Makogo, how has living in Germany been? I mean, you've lived in democratic nation, you've lived in capitalist nation in Nigeria where everybody hustles for their own stuff, right? And then you are now living in a socialist state, right? Am I correct?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
So okay, yeah, but the government actually pays for a whole lot of things in Germany, right?
Yeah, it's actually a parliamentary governance that they practice. So I don't know if it's same.
How is the like? Do you guys pay a lot of taxes there?
Yes, I was going to come to that.
Yeah,
in Germany you pay.
So basically, the government they take charge of redistributing the wealth by charging you guys more. So yeah, that's a socialist. That's a socialist setting. So how has being able to adapt in that country? What was the cultural shocks that you experienced? How has your adaptation, your process of acculturation, how has that been for you?
It wasn't easy on me. But yeah, fortunately, I'm someone who can easily adjust and adapt to something, especially if it's something that I know I have to deal with for a long time. Then I don't have much choices than to just deal with it. For example, when I came to Germany, the first time I went to, no, that wasn't the first time. The second time, okay, the first time I went to Rewe to buy, it's a grocery store to buy some foodstuffs. Of course, I wasn't working then. I wasn't having any income. I was still spending the money I get from my broke account. So whenever I want to buy something from the grocery store, I first have to convert the euro to naira, because I want to know the worth of this euro to naira before I can buy it.
Yeah.
This way I wasn't eating. Yeah, I wasn't eating enough. I have to be honest with you. I wasn't buying as much as I needed because when I convert 10 euro to naira, I was having about, it It was over 5,000 naira, and it could be just one piece of grocery, you know, but maybe a pack of noodle.
Yeah.
And then I just most times I decide to split it or buy just a little bit to make the money less. Another cultural thing, cultural shock, I would say, was the second time I went to the store. It was a weekend in Germany. On Sundays, the grocery stores don't open. So I
On
went on
Sundays.
Saturday, but
On
before I
Sunday.
went,
Grocery stores don't open on Sundays in Germany.
on Sunday in Germany, it doesn't open.
Whoa!
Wow, why is that?
Except for Ideka, which opens in some areas.
Why is
But
that?
every other Reve, I don't know. I have no reason.
Is
But
Germany a religious nation?
no, no, definitely not Germany.
Sorry.
Wow.
Definitely not Germany. But in Czech Republic here, you know, it runs week in, week out,
Yeah.
every day.
Ifeanyi, what was your question?
No, I said, do they do reduced hours? Because here they do reduced hours. On a Sunday, they usually do 10 to 4, like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. rather than doing it like 24 hours or
No, on Sunday it's not open at all.
That's smart.
It's not open. Except for Ideka, but it's only in some locations that they open.
That's smart.
Not everywhere. So I went to the store on a Saturday evening. I went very late. It was already they usually open from 9 a.m. and it runs until the only thing is on Saturday it runs until 12 p.m. Is that p.m. or a.m.? 12 midnight. Sorry, let me put it that way. But on regular days, like normal days, it's from Monday to Friday. It's usually from 9 until 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So I went there. It was just about 2 minutes past 12 on Saturday. The door is not closed yet. Like I could see the cashiers. You know, they were still packing, getting ready. There were still few people inside picking things to come out.
Yeah.
You know, the guy by the door could still let me in to pick few things, just few things I was going to take for Sunday, because otherwise I don't have anything to make for Sunday, you know. He said I can't get in.
Wow.
I pleaded with this guy. I begged this guy. He said no. He didn't let me in. So my point is, ordinarily in Nigeria, if you beg the guy at the gate or maybe give him few naira, he could let you in to run in and pick what you want to pick.
Yeah.
But over here, even if you go to the foreign office, go for interview, once you're a minute late, even if it's the train, once it's 1 minute late, the doors are shut.
Wow.
And you miss it. So they usually keep to the time. Even the people who ride the trains and who drive the buses, if it says on your map that the train or the bus is going to be here in 2 minutes, in 2 minutes you see the bus. If it's going to be if it's delayed by a few minutes or I don't know how long, it will be showed there on the map, so you know that you're going to have a delay, that you won't see the bus when you are supposed to see it based on the map.
Yeah.
So the thing is, one of the shocks I had was I realized that punctuality is very important.
Yeah.
And this is not where you could beg your way through or pay your way through. You know, that's one of them. There are so many others, but I can't.
Let me cut you short there a little bit. I know Zikora he has to leave. So bro, what does living in Canada look like before you go? What are some of your cultural shocks? And how are you able to survive? How are you able to manage your bills and all that? What is your experience like?
Well, basically, the idea that once you move into Canada, you start making a whole lot of money, it's not true. First, if you come in as a student, you just have about 20 hours to work every week. You can only work for about 20 hours, except you get an under-the-table job, and that way they pay you cash and you don't report your taxes. But once you're paid by direct deposits, you have to pay your taxes and you can only work for 20 hours. And that's for students, for people that came in as students. Me, I came in with permanent residency, and I started working almost immediately. Started writing my exams immediately. Of course, these things cost money. Education in Canada is very expensive. Extremely expensive, and it becomes more difficult when, okay, for me, permanent residents have the same benefits, citizens do have with respect to education, but you do have some government grants and loans for studies, OSAP and all, but I think in my case it was a bit difficult, and because the school I chose, I went to one of the best universities because, of course, I needed the law degree. I did the LLM from the school. And secondly, these grants, so many things affect them too, like where you work, how much you earn, do you work full time? If you have kids, it makes it a lot easier. If you're married with kids, the grants it shoots up. I have no wife, no kid, nothing. So I was basically struggling, getting my fees, I was paying my fees and then registering for all the exams I needed to write. So it wasn't easy. And then at work, I realized one of the things I learned here that helped me out was the fact that here everyone is basically the same. I understand there's some systematic racism. Of course, it can't end. But the truth is, everyone is basically the same. And if you package yourself well, if you present yourself well, people wouldn't disrespect you, at least not so much. So, and also coming in, I tried as much as I could to identify with a couple of the Black communities around me. But outside that, I think the first thing I experienced was went to work, and then I came in. The first time I started, I was working at FedEx. So my boss, we were having a conversation one time, and then he was introducing me to the rest of the team. Like, it was a room full of people, over 40, 50 people. And he said, yeah, we have a big guy from Nigeria. He just came in. Yeah, he just came in. And this is basically his first time in this sort of an environment, and he's a lawyer. Everyone thought, oh, lawyer, okay. And immediately someone said, he'll soon start making the big bucks. Everyone started laughing. And in my mind, I was like, amen, oh, amen.
Yeah, amen, I agree.
Amen. Amen, oh. But then I was having a conversation with someone, and I mistakenly said Mr. person, and my boss was there. I was having a conversation with the person. Immediately the person left. My boss told me, address him by his first name, not Mr. And then immediately it clicked. I remembered, people may not want to associate with the particular term you address them, so just call them by their first name.
Yeah.
And also the second thing was the idea of respect in Nigeria is not the same thing here. When you come in and someone is talking to you, like, yes, sir. Then you call your professor, sir. And the professor is looking at you like, okay, was that for me? And this professor is someone who has been a general counsel with one of the biggest hotel outlets in the world. Wow. Like, generally, if he were to be in Nigeria, you wouldn't just call him sir. He would be highly revered. The man I was talking, he was my supervisor for my project. He speaks 7 languages.
Wow.
And then he was the vice president of one of the biggest hotel outlets in the world. If I mention the name, everyone knows it. So he's big. And one day we were having a conversation. So he was like, Zeke, with what you're doing, I can see you're going places. So we're having that conversation. And he said, well, you're juggling at the moment. And I was like, sir, you won't even understand. And he was looking at me, sir. I said, oh, prof, you won't understand. And it was a shock to me because in Nigeria, imagine speaking with your Nigerian lecturer. And then he addresses you and you're like, Chike. You call him by his first name. Chike, how are you doing today? Yeah. You never graduate. You never.
That's true.
Never. So it was a shock. Or you come into your boss office and you're like, Ebuka, I just give you the file, or I just send the file via PDF. You can just access it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But here, you call your boss by his first name. Your boss calls you. In fact, the people that call me boss while I was still working at FedEx, the people that called me boss have been in this company for over 30 years. And the term boss was more like, it was more like bro.
Right.
So the person walks up, they're like, hey boss, and I'm like, hey boss, and then you guys, and it was strange the first few weeks, but then I got used to it. So basically here, and also one thing I want people to understand is that when you come in here, there is this idea that you struggle for a while. To be fair, you will. Regardless of how much money you come in with, you will struggle for at least the first 1-2 years. It won't get rosy immediately, except you decide to venture into crime. But you won't get okay, I just saw a notification from someone about one of our lecturers in the uni. Yeah. So you won't call someone, you can't just come in and then just start making so much money. You'll struggle a bit. Even if you get a good job immediately, you'll still struggle because getting into the culture, the system, it will be difficult. But within the first 1-2 years, especially if you want to continue in your profession back home, the profession you were in back home, like you're a lawyer and you get in here and you want to practice, you'll struggle, to be fair. For the first 1-2 years, but the most important thing is that you'll be fine.
That's good.
That first 1-2 years, you may not be able to start building a house back home like you dreamt of, and start buying cars and all that. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine because by the time you get into the system, you'll see that you would work, you would earn good money. You'll be taxed heavily by Canada, but you'll be fine. You'll definitely be fine. Great. Now I look back and I tell myself that, okay, what I know now, if I knew it when I came in, I would have gone beyond this point now. And that's why I tell my friends, if you want to come in here as a lawyer, you want to come in here, immediately you start your process, tell me. Let me tell you that there are ways to get these things easily. I tell my friends, once you start making your applications, you can start writing the NC exams back home in Nigeria, complete the exams in Nigeria. I tell that to people. You write the exams, I'll help you. I'll help you with everything. The only thing they require is a physical address where they can send your transcript, the hard copy of your transcript. I'll give you my address. Write the exams in Nigeria. Once you are done writing the exams in Nigeria, you find out that once you touch Canada, once you land in Canada, the only thing you would need to do is to write the bar exams.
Okay,
it makes it a lot easier. You will now take.
What is your
I still use my Facebook name is my full name, Zikora Nazazogana.
Okay.
So that's Zikora. I be Zikora Siazogana. I don't know. Give me a minute. Let me.
You can just type it in the chat or something.
Yes. Let me.
Just so people can contact you,
or
just send it
full name. It can be found.
Yeah.
Yes, Zikora Siazogana.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we are down to the last 11 minutes of this section. Ifeanyi, just real quick, what was your whole acculturation process like? What was your cultural shocks? And then what advice do you give to people? Then I'll just go around the table for advice. So what was your own process like, and what advice would you give to people?
Yeah, I'll be real quick. I mean, most things everyone said there was 100% relatable, which is something I had, and but it wasn't too difficult for me though. And one of the things I realized along the line too, even in my workplace and everything, because coming in from Nigeria, everyone was my friend. Like, I was obviously social butterfly, got along with everybody and all of that, but I didn't create sort of prior before now, like everyone. I called everyone friend. Does that make sense? Like, if you're at work, we could literally meet today, you're my friend, and I would advise you, I'll call you a friend. But when I came in, I realized everyone that for the fact that we are co-workers doesn't mean we are friends. For the fact that we work together, we see each other, like I see more than I see my family or whatever. We're still not friends, we're still co-workers. But that was that setting, and it helped me a whole lot too, because you'd have to be careful who you talk to, because when you think you're talking to a friend and release vital information, you step out now, the next minute, everyone in our workplace, everyone knows about it and everyone's talking about it, and you don't want that. And I learned the hard way anyway, but yeah, I realized that along the line. And then for advice for me, like people in my profession and everybody, most people, yeah, I feel just there are so many things I feel like if I knew back then. You said something, you were like along the line, you said something, you asked, like, now that you've come in, I think that's a different conversation altogether. But I think if I knew a lot of things, I would have been more prepared. For example, like there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying getting yourself more equipped and more ready and saying, okay, I want to come in next year rather than this year. Because if you have to do more trainings, if you have to do more training to equip yourself, for example, with myself, yeah, like getting into a specialty ultrasound in Nigeria is quite easy. Just stay back in Nigeria and do like a course and apply and come in and earn more money and all of that. But once coming in here, getting into that field isn't very easy, because hospitals have to spend a lot training you, sending you to school and all of that. So if I had actually known that, I would have to actually spend 100K running this course in Nigeria, and it would still give me it would still add, and I would still get higher. I would have actually done that rather than coming in here and trying to get into maneuver my way around and all of that. So yeah, know what you want, be specific. Don't say when you get there you figure it out. Sometimes it doesn't happen like that sometimes. Yeah. It's actually been a lot of hurdles and a lot of things would have actually been avoided if you went straight from the onset and went for what you wanted from the onset. Yeah, so that's really my advice.
That's great. Thank you very much, bro. Makogo, what advice do you give to people who want to come to Germany? If you were to do the whole process again, what would you do differently?
Yeah, I just have two important advice to give. The first one is it's very important that you, just like Ifani said, you equip yourself with some skills, some applicable skills, which are very in demand in the job market. Because in Germany, you can actually, as long as you have the skills, you know what you're doing. Big companies like Amazon, Tesla can actually employ you without any degree. So in Germany, it's not about your degree, it's about how much skills do you have, what problems can you solve for the companies. That's very important. And secondly, I will advise, if it's possible for you, learn German already in Nigeria before you travel. I didn't. Until now, I haven't. Reason is, I don't know, you can see it as excuse, but trust me, I don't think I would just invest my time in learning German now. I have other priorities. It's very important, and it's making me to lag in a lot of areas in job search. Because you can't speak the language, you can't get really good job here. You don't get paid very well. You do jobs like I don't know, warehouse helper, I don't know, working in the restaurants as a bachelor degree holder, as a graduate. And I don't know, you get paid, I don't know, 1,000 euros or 1,500 euros. A lot of us come here and this is what we do for years.
Yeah.
You know. But if you speak the language, there are lots of opportunities out there.
Yeah.
Udobala came in, he didn't start studying immediately. He came in, he first did, I don't know, about 1 year program in German. And afterwards, he got a job in German grocery store. You know, he was getting really good paid, relative to what I was having when I came in. Because when I came in, I started with some shitty job. I don't want to mention it. You know, so if you have the resources, first of all, do German language course in Nigeria. It's very, very important. especially if you are someone who, when you come over here, you know that you're going to work your way through. You don't have anybody who's going to be sending you money or training you, like myself. I do everything myself. Yeah, my brothers helped me to come over here, but since I came in, I've been a man of myself. You know, that I've been dealing with everything myself. They did enough, you know. So I will advise, if it's possible, do the course before you come in, so you can already from the beginning start earning good money, and you don't have to take the shame and the insult from doing some shitty jobs.
Yeah, sure.
So that's all
Wow.
from my side.
That's amazing, guys. I really do want to thank all of you. We are down to the final 4 minutes. So back to what Makogo was saying. We are very, very, very time conscious. And I think that's something that is way different. That was a cultural shock for me too, you know, like how time conscious these people are, you know. So there is nothing like African time. The only place you see African time in America here is just Nigerian events, you know. That's where you get to see like African time reinvented, you know. So it's very interesting. That culture follows us everywhere we're going. So we are down to the final 3 minutes, and I want to thank all of you that both our speakers and the people that joined us today. I have a whole lot of questions that I've not even gone through, but it has been a very insightful conversation, and you know, getting to know what happens, the whole immigration process in UK, Canada, Germany. I think Germany kind of intrigues me because of the whole free education stuff. You know, I know a lot of people here are kind of intrigued by it too, you know. So real quick, this video is streamed online on Facebook. Makogo and Ifani, if somebody wants to reach out to you guys, if you guys are open to that, please do comment on Facebook and kind of put your name in there, you know, in case somebody wants to ask you 1 or 2 questions, you know. I will have to tell all of you guys this. I know Ifani, Makogo, and Zikora actually gave out his contact already. I'm a product of somebody's help, you know, just like Makogo said. Family helped help me to get to where I am today, and I'm always free to render help whenever I'm called upon, you know. And funny enough, life has a way of reminding you that and also helping you back, you know, through the people you've helped and all that. So if you guys are able, please do leave your contact details in the comment section so that somebody can ask you further questions if they have any. But this is where we draw it. We'll call it a day today. Thank you, Ifani. Thank you for making out time. I know you got to head out to work and all that. Makogo, thank you so much. Zikora, thank you all for your insights. And I do wish you well and best wishes in your different countries and different endeavors. All right. Blessings all.
Thank you so much, John. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
All right.